All right, settle in, because we're about to take a little stroll through humanity's greatest hits in the art of making life absolutely unbearable. These aren't just punishments, they're statements. Engineered nightmares designed to break bodies, minds, and the will to ever disobey again. So buckle up, clench your cheeks, and for the love of all that's holy, don't try these at home. Picture ancient Sicily, 570 BCE. A tyrant named Phalaris is sitting on his throne, bored out of his skull, when a clever inventor named Perillus walks up with a proposition. Hey boss, what if we made a giant bronze bull? Hollow inside, we throw the bad guys in, light a fire underneath, and get this, their screams come out the bull's mouth sounding like actual bellowing. Now, Phalaris was many things, a despot, a maniac, probably bad at parties, but he was intrigued. So they built it. This wasn't some crude metal box. The bull was a masterpiece of psychological torture engineering. Inside, there was a system of tubes running from the victim's mouth to the bull's head. When the condemned humans started screaming in agony as the bronze walls heated up around them, those screams would funnel through the tubes and echo out like the bull itself was roaring in fury. The fire beneath would heat the metal hotter and hotter until the person inside wasn't screaming anymore. They were just cooking. The finishing touch? Steam rose from the bull's nostrils, making the whole thing look alive. Spectators watched the bull bellow and smoke as if it had come to life, completely unaware that inside was a charred corpse. Pretty sick theater, right? But here's where it gets dark. Perillus, so proud of his creation, climbed inside to demonstrate the acoustics. Phalaris smiled, shut the door, and lit the fire. Turns out, the inventor got to experience his own masterpiece firsthand. And according to legend, after Phalaris was eventually overthrown, guess how he met his end? Same bull, same flames, same screams. Poetic justice doesn't get more literal than that. Jump forward to medieval Europe, where efficiency in torture was an art form. Enter the breaking wheel, basically a large wooden wagon wheel, except instead of helping you get somewhere, it helps you get nowhere ever again. The process was simple, if you have the stomach for it. They'd tie you to this massive wheel, spread eagle your limbs along the spokes, and then, here's the fun part, an executioner would walk up with a hammer or iron bar and just start shattering your bones. Arms first, then legs, working methodically like he's clocking into a 9-to-5 job. Except instead of paperwork, he's breaking femurs. In some variations, they'd get creative. After breaking your limbs, they'd weave your broken body through the spokes of the wheel. Then they'd hoist the whole thing up on a pole and let you hang there. Days, sometimes weeks. The broken bones would get infected. You'd die slowly, publicly, as a reminder to everyone passing by that the government does not appreciate your nonsense. One notable victim was a woman named Margaretha, accused of witchcraft in medieval times. They put her on the wheel, broke her bones one by one, and somehow, in a shocking display of willpower, she still refused to confess to being a witch. At what point do you think someone would just make something up? Apparently, not Margaretha. Respect the commitment, if nothing else. Sailors broke the rules at sea? Keelhauling was the answer. The name comes from Dutch, keelhaulen, meaning to drag along the keel. And that's exactly what it sounds like. You'd be tied to a rope, looped under the ship's hull. Then they'd throw you overboard on one side, and you'd get dragged underneath the ship, scraping against the keel the entire way. Ship hulls are covered in barnacles, seaweed, coral, all kinds of crusty nonsense that shreds human skin like a cheese grater. You're being pulled along, held underwater for stretches, your lungs burning, your skin being torn off in strips. Sometimes they drag you from one side of the ship to the other, sometimes the entire length of the ship. Some variations had you going under multiple times. The whole crew would watch that it was a deterrent, a public shaming, a demonstration of what happens when you cross the captain. If you survived keelhauling, and many didn't, you'd be left with shredded skin, internal bleeding, infections that would absolutely kill you within days. It wasn't a quick execution, it was a process. So there you have it. Some ways humanity decided that just killing someone wasn't theatrical enough. These punishments served a purpose. They were meant to terrify, to humiliate, to remind people that disobedience had a cost that extended beyond just death. They were state-sponsored horror, designed to break the human spirit before the body had a chance to give up. And yet, somehow, throughout all of history, people kept rebelling anyway, because nothing kills the human will to resist quite like, well, actually, some of these things came pretty close. Pretty grim stuff, right? If you want more videos on the absolute worst of human ingenuity, check out this one right over here. And hey, subscribe if you haven't already. I've got plenty more darkness to share with you. I'll see you over there.